Hi, welcome to Technical and Engineering Academy. This is Blessed Elvis. So before we go directly into expressing the given matrix into a quadratic form, there is firstly a standard form in which we should write the given matrix. So the standard form is always in the form of x, where you have the unknown values. So the unknown values in this case, we will represent them by x, and then here you write the given matrix that you have been given in the expression multiplied by x1, the same coordinates, the same unknown values that you have here. Okay, so in this case then, the given matrix should be on the middle, and then you have this in the form of the row, and then you have the same values in the form of what? The column. So this is how the standard form of the given matrix. So after you have been given the matrix and then you have been asked to express it in quadratic form, you write it in this way, and then you replace where there is m with the matrix that you have been given. Then find the values of the unknowns. When you find the values of the unknowns, then you simplify the given quadratic expression. After you simplify, then you have obviously expressed. In this case, you have to categorize according to the quadratic standard form. Okay, so let's do that. Let's look at an example. So this mostly works where you have a 3 by 3 matrix. So if you have a 2 by 2, of course here you just end with the unknown values having 2 values here. That's how it is. So let's say, for example, you have been given a matrix. Let's say in this case matrix A, which equals to 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, 3, 5. Here we have 2, and then here you have 0. How can we express this in quadratic form? Okay, so let's just remove what's on top here. So replacing this in standard form, the first thing we said is to write it where you have the unknown values. So this is a 3 by 3 matrix, so I'll write 3 unknown values. So x1, x2, and x3. And then here we have the matrix. What matrix have we been given? We have been given 1, 2, 5, 2, 0, 3, 4, 3, and then we have 5 here. Okay, so this is 3, then we have 5 here. Okay, so this is the matrix, and then even here you write the unknown values in column, where we have x1, x2, and then x3. Okay, so let's remove whatever is down there, since we don't need it anymore. So in this case, we have firstly expressed the given expression in standard form. So the first thing now is to start multiplying these unknown values into the matrix. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We are going to multiply. So we know that you are going to multiply always by row and then the columns. So in this case, we are going to multiply x1 multiplied by 1. We are going to have what? Of course, we are going to have only x1. Okay, we are going to have x1. So x1, then plus x2 multiplied by 2. We deal with this row first, this column first. So x2 multiplied by 2, we are going to have 2x2. Then plus we come to x, where x is 3. So x3 multiplied by 5, we have 5x3. Okay, then comma. After you are done with this part, you come to this row again. You do likewise. So x1 multiplied by 2, we are going to have what? 2x1. Then plus x2 multiplied by 0. Of course, we are just going to have 0. So it means that you just have nothing there. So of course, you can just write 0 if you want, but if you want, you can just ignore it, since it won't make any difference. So for the sake of space here, I will not include the 0. So we go direct to x3. So x3 multiplied by 3, we have what? 3x3. So comma, you are done with this part. Then you come to the last column here. So x1 multiplied by 5, we have 5x1. And then added to x2 multiplied by 3, we have 3x2. And then the last one, that is x3 multiplied by 4, we have 4 2x3. Okay, so this is the standard. Remember, we also have this at last, but right now I'm just dealing with this part here. Okay, so in this case then, let me just also multiply with this. So for the sake of space here, I will just rewrite this, what we have here, down there. So we have x1 plus 2x2 plus 5x3, comma 2x1 plus 3x3, comma, then we come to 5x1 plus 3x2 plus 4x3. So here we are multiplying with what? With the column of x1 unknown values, x2, and also x3. Okay, so in this case, let's remove what's on top here. Okay, let's remove all of this so that we can create space. So I hope that you are following. We will look at another example so that you have a clear picture of all these. Okay, so in this case then we are going to multiply these first algebra we have here with x1, this with x2, this with x3. Then we add and then we simplify. That's it. So let's begin by multiplying this with x1. So x1 multiplied by x1, what's that? It's x1 squared plus 2x2 multiplied by x1. We are going to have what? 2x1 and x2 plus x3 multiplied by x1. We have what? 5x3 multiplied by x1. We have 5x1 and then x3. Okay, so we are done with this part here. We come on the what? The second row. The second row of x2 here, we will multiply with this. So 2x1 multiplied by 2x2 rather, we are going to have 2x1, then x2. Then we add to 3x3 multiplied by x2. We are going to have 3x2, then x3. Okay, let's just write properly. So x3. Okay, so in this case then we are done with this part. We come to the last part, which is x3. So x3 will multiply with what's here. So 5x1 multiplied by 5x1 multiplied by x3. We are going to have 5x1, then x3, then we add x3 rather, then we add, then we also have 3x2 multiplied by x3. We are going to have 3x2, then x3. Okay, then x3. Okay, for the sake of space, I will just add the last one here. Then we have 4x3 multiplied by x3. Of course, we are going to have 4x3 squared. Okay, so in this case then we have this expression, so we can simplify this. If we simplify this, we are going to write in quadratic form. You remember by now that the quadratic form is an equation of the form where you have ax squared added to bx then plus constant c. So in this case, whatever has x squared will be on the first part and then followed by the rest. So in this case then, what are we going to have? So let's just remove this. So in this case then we are going to have, okay, we are going to have this which has squared with this which has squared here. Remember, this 4 had squared here. So in this case we are going to have x1 squared, this is plus 4x3 squared. Okay, then plus we add what has the same values. So if you see this one and this one have the same values, we have 2x1 2 and then even here we have 2x1 2. So we are going to add. So in this case we are going to have 4x1 x2, then plus. Here we have, what other things do we have in common here? We have 5x1 x3. We also have 5x1 x3. Okay, so in this case 5 plus 5, that is 10. So it's 10 x1 then x3. Okay, which other one do we have? In this case we also have this 3x2 x3. Also here we have 3x2 x3. So 3 plus 3, that is 6. So we're going to have, so let's just remove this since we have already used this. Okay, so in this case we're going to have 6x2 then x3. Okay, let me just okay, so then x3. So in this case then you have expressed the given matrix into the standard form, or rather into a quadratic form. So that's how it is whenever you have been given a matrix, to express it into a quadratic form. So this is the answer that we have. So let's look at the last one. Let's say where you have been given a matrix which is B. Let's say this is equal to, let's say 1, 2, let's say negative 3, 4, let's say 6, let's say here we have 5, and then here we have, let's say here we have 3, here we have 8, and here we have 7. So how do you think we should go about this one? So to express this, firstly we have to write into the standard form. So the unknown values here will be what? Will be x1, x2, and then also x3. Okay, and then we have the given matrix, that is 1, 2, negative 3, 4, 6, 5, 3, 8, and then 7 here. Then also write the unknown values in column, that is x1, x2, and also x3. Okay, so let's remove what's on top here so that we write whatever will be next on top here, since down there might be no space, enough space. So after we are done with this, remember we multiply these unknown values firstly with column, and then also this one, and then we come to the last one, this one. So let's begin doing that. So x1 multiplied by 1, here we have what? x1. Then x2 multiplied by 4, we have what? So we add 4x2. Then we add to x3 multiplied by 3, we have 3x3. So we are done with this column. We come to the next. So x1 multiplied by 2, have what? 2x1 plus 2x2 multiplied by 6, we have 6x2. Then x3 multiplied by 8, we have 8x3. We are done with this column. We come to the last column. So in this case, x1 multiplied by negative 3. So here, since we are adding negative and positive, we have negative. So in this case, it's going to be negative. So negative x1 multiplied by negative 3, we are going to have negative 3x1. And then x2 multiplied by 5, we are going to have 5x2. Then x3 multiplied by 7, we are going to have what? Positive 7 what? Okay, we are going to have positive 7x. Okay, let's write this properly. So we are going to have positive 7x3. Okay, so there is not enough space here, but all in all, after we are done with this, we multiply whatever now we have, the results we have now, with the column unknown values again. So in this case, the unknown values are these. So we are going to multiply these with what we have here. Rather, instead of having the positive values there, we were supposed to be having commas. So here, comma. I hope you are able to recall this. Even here, we were supposed to have comma. So in this case, we are going to have negative 3. negative 3 here, comma, even here, comma. Okay, so after you are done with multiplying the row by columns of the given matrix, you write commas here instead of plus. So make sure that you take note of that. Okay, so this is 3. Okay, let me just remove this so that I write a proper one. So this is 3. Okay, so in this case then, after you are done with this, you come to multiply with these values here. So the first one, you multiply with the what? The first x1. So x1 multiplied by x1, we have what? x1 squared, then plus 4x2 multiplied by x1, we have what? 4x1, then x2 plus 3x3 multiplied by x1, we have what? 3x1, then x3. Okay, we come to add here 2x1 multiplied by x2. Now we come to this one. So when you are done with this one, comma, you come to this one, you come to the second, comma, you come to this one, you come to the what? The third. So make sure that you take note of that pattern here. So 2x1 multiplied by x2, you have 2x1, then x2 plus 6x2 multiplied by x2, we have 6x2 squared, then plus 8x3 multiplied by x2, we have 8. Okay, we have 8x2 multiplied by x3 plus, so let me just write the last one to below here. Hopefully you will not be confused. So we are done with this part, so we come to x3. So x3 multiplied by negative 3x1, we have negative 3x1, and then x what? x3 plus, we also multiply 5x2 multiplied by x3, we have 5x2, then x3, then we come to 7. So 7x3 multiplied by x3, we have 7x3 what? Squared. So this is the quadratic equation that we have. So we have to just simplify it and then write in quadratic form. So whatever has squared will be on the left side. So in this case we are going to have whichever has squared. So this one has squared, this one has squared, and this one has squared. So we are going to have what? x1 squared added to 6x2 squared, then added to what? 7x3 squared. Okay, after that you take note of whatever values are the same. So we have this and this. So these are the same. So we are going to add 4 plus 2. We have what? 6 x1, then x2. So we are done with this. We come to whichever has x1 and x3 here. We check out which one has x1 and x3. It's this one. So in this case we are going to subtract this 3x1 x3 minus 3x1 x3. Of course it's what? It's 0. So we are just going to simply cancel them. Okay, and then we go to the next. Which one has x2 x3? This one has, and also this one has. So we are going to add what? 8 here plus 5. You are going to have what? 13 x2 and then x3. So this is the quadratic standard form of the given matrix. So I hope that you have understood something. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks once again guys for staying this far. Please like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification button so that you are updated whenever I upload a new video. Stay blessed.